How do I write a waiver request? Writing a waiver request may depend on you doing several different things, including filling out a cover letter, a request form, and making note of any documentation required. Depending on the circumstances of the waiver and the agency involved, the requirements could be somewhat different in different situations. In almost all cases, you will need to provide an explanation as to why the waiver is needed. Also, when writing the request for a waiver, make sure to pay attention to any deadlines. If filling out a pre-printed form, then writing a waiver request is self-explanatory. Simply follow the prompts and fill in the spaces to the best of your ability, making sure you include all relevant details as required. In some cases, a form may be all you will have to fill out. In other cases, you may be required to submit a normal letter as well. This letter should be thought out and logically organized. No matter what type of letter or narrative you are writing, make sure you clearly state the request at the very beginning. If writing a memo format or an email, include the words waiver request in the subject line of the email. If writing a more traditional letter, make sure the waiver request point is made in the first paragraph, even the first sentence. The next paragraph should explain how you meet the requirements necessary for getting a waiver request granted. For example, if you need to meet certain income guidelines in order to be granted a waiver, clearly state your income and how you may meet them. If you wish to receive a medical waiver to travel or play a sport, explain what doctors or other medical professionals have said about your situation. Take each requirement for a waiver point by point in order to make sure everything is explained methodically. In some cases, it may be good to also explain what the waiver would mean for you personally. If it might be the difference between attending college and not attending college, that could be powerful motivation in cases where guidelines are flexible or those looking at waivers can make their own decisions. While this may not be necessary, it could help. Nevertheless, avoid sounding melodramatic or using language that is overly emotional. If you are including supporting documentation, make a note of that or tell the party when to expect that information to arrive. It is always good to provide a timeline and method of delivery if documentation is not sent at the same time. Explain, if possible, why the documentation was not all sent together. The final paragraph of the request letter should state your willingness to make yourself available in case more questions come up. If you have not already provided contact information, this would be a good place to provide it. Otherwise, state where else your contact information is listed, and provide convenient times to reach you by phone.